kızı. I have read your Superman's storyline, Man and Superman, that was published in 2019, if I'm correct. And actually, I read your foreword, like where before the comic books, your thoughts on it, and it was actually just as entertaining as the comic book itself. And you presented there your philosophy on Superman, so to speak.
Yeah.
I obviously you said he's your favorite character. I was always, here and there with Superman, to be honest. But let me ask you this: I always considered him as a fan, just as one of the most complex characters to write. Was it like that with you? And if not, what was the character that you had most, let's call it, trouble?
I never had problems with Superman. I've written many different takes on Superman over the years, depending upon what the editor was looking for. Man and Superman, which I think is my favorite, and I really love that book. Thank you. I think that's my definitive version of the character. And he was never a problem to me. He was a character that I was able to write the moment I thought about it. Anytime I had a story, I could make that work with Superman. About 3 weeks ago, my latest Superman story came out in a book called Kal-El Returns. It has 4 stories in it, and I wrote one of them, and I'm really happy with that Superman too, because that's the Superman with married to Lois with a kid. So since that was the version I was asked to write, I was able to find things that made him the character I love. I try to be consistent with the character, even though I move with the times.
Yeah. Speaking of that and movie versions, we saw many versions of Superman. We saw Christopher Reeve and Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill. I personally am the biggest fan of Man of Steel out of all Superman films. Which one is your favorite iteration?
I think the first one with Christopher Reeve. He represented the goodness in Superman. And I think that's something that too many people, when they feel that you say Superman's a good guy, they think he's boring. Not at all. He just makes the right decisions. He still struggles. He still has problems. He still has all the things that all people have. But he's going to do the right thing because it is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I always felt that Christopher Reeve was best Clark Kent. He played the best part of the Clark Kent, I believe. Even Henry Cavill, although Man of Steel, like I said, is my favorite. He didn't present Clark Kent, I believe, as good as Christopher Reeve.
Well, Clark, I like his take on Superman tremendously. Clark, they obviously wanted to do a little bit more of the 1938 Clark, who was a little bit crazy. Not always, rugged and such. But his Superman I loved, and I thought it worked out beautifully.
Luca spoke about why Superman he thought was challenging to write, and all those adaptations in movies you mentioned of Superman. And I really loved Injustice series. I don't know if you read them, when they turned Superman into villain. And that was a whole new aspect of Superman to me, he being a ruthless, totalitarian dictator.
Have you read it? What's the book?
Injustice.
No, I didn't read it. I tend not to read a lot of books these days, especially on characters that I like, because nobody else can write the character that I like the way I like it. That comes out of my head. So that's a little bit of an ego, but I understand it.
But what about the?
But that's a single storyline. That's a self-contained novel.
Yeah, separate universe, totally.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. It's a what if. And as long as it's a good story, those are fine. But as part of standard continuity, Superman's not a villain. He never would be.
Yeah.
He was raised by two very nice people, and he became a good person because of it.
Yeah, but it's like when Cap said Hail Hydra in Secret Empire.
We stay genuine, uncensored and unscripted, and we always will, as we have to order our usual. Share us and subscribe us, and stay tuned until the next Wednesday. Ikuzo!